It was a golden afternoon in Galilee when the sun painted the horizon with shades of honey and amber, pouring its gentle light over the rolling hills that stretched as far as the eye could see. The air was perfumed with the scent of wildflowers, and the breeze carried the distant murmur of the Sea of Galilee. Jesus sat beneath the generous shade of a century-old olive tree, whose branches, twisted by time, seemed like arms opened in eternal prayer. His hands, calloused from carpentry work, hands that knew the weight of wood and the resistance of metal, now rested open in gestures of infinite blessing. Around him, a crowd gathered like waves kissing the shore, eager for words of hope that only he could offer. There were shepherds with their staffs, women with water jars balanced on their shoulders, merchants setting aside their business, and elders bent by time, all united by a spiritual thirst that only the Master's presence could quench. The reverent silence was broken only by the whisper of wind through leaves and the compassionate beating of hopeful hearts. Suddenly, like an unexpected symphony breaking through a solemn melody, the murmur of adult voices was pierced by something purer and more heavenly, the crystal laughter of children. It was a sound that seemed to come from Eden's garden itself, free from malice, full of life. Little bare feet, still innocent of life's arduous journeys, ran across the dusty earth, raising small, golden clouds that danced in the sunlight. Chubby little hands, dirty from innocent play, reached toward the Master like flowers seeking the sun. There was a girl with curly hair escaping from her mother's headscarf, a boy with eyes large as stars, twin brothers running hand in hand, and so many other little ones whose names perhaps only God knew, but whose hearts he knew perfectly. They understood nothing of theology or philosophy, carried no weight of worldly concerns, but instinctively recognized the divinity that emanated from that gentle man. But the disciples, moved by misguided seriousness, and perhaps by fatigue from a long journey, began to form a human barrier between the children and Jesus. Peter, ever impetuous, gestured with his large hands. John, still young but already assuming adult responsibilities, spoke in a paternal tone. And the others, each in his own way, demonstrated a protection that, though well-intentioned, revealed how much they still failed to understand their Master's heart. "Don't disturb the Master," they said, with an authority they deemed appropriate. "He has important matters to attend to, urgent questions of the kingdom. These children don't comprehend the magnitude of the moment." Jesus' face, however, changed. A shadow of sadness crossed his compassionate eyes, like passing clouds over a serene lake. For a moment, he observed his disciples, these men who followed him faithfully, but who still saw the world through human lenses, limited by earthly logic that hierarchizes importance based on age and social position. It was then that Jesus stood up, with a grace that seemed to defy gravity, and his voice echoed through the crowd like a river meeting the sea, gentle as a mother's whisper soothing her baby, yet irresistible as the force of waters that move mountains. "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." The words fell upon the assembly like rain after a long drought. The air seemed to sigh, and even the olive tree's leaves ceased their whisper. The disciples stopped like statues, their faces painted with confusion, and perhaps a dawning understanding that they had missed something fundamental about the nature of the kingdom they thought they served. And the children, like little birds freed from an invisible cage, ran into the open arms of the Savior. There was no hesitation, no analysis or questioning, only the pure and instinctive movement of hearts that recognized home. Their eyes sparkled with unquestioning faith. Their hearts beat with the crystal purity of those who had not yet learned to doubt, to calculate, to fear. Jesus received them like a king receives his most precious treasures. He embraced them one by one, lifted some in his arms, kissed their foreheads sweaty from innocent play, and in each gesture,
Heaven itself leaned down to witness that moment that would forever redefine the values of the divine kingdom. Mother's tears of joy mixed with smiles of growing understanding. "Truly, I tell you," Jesus whispered, his voice now laden with a divine emotion that made the holy ground tremble with reverence. "Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." In that sacred moment, under the golden light of the Galilean twilight that painted faces and hearts with tones of eternity, the entire universe understood a truth that would echo through the centuries, that God's greatness is revealed not in the proud complexity of the wise, nor in the pomp of the powerful, but in the trusting simplicity and genuine humility of a childlike heart. A heart that loves without conditions, trusts without reservations, and rejoices in life's simple things.
If this message touched your heart, please like, share with anyone who needs to hear this truth, and subscribe for more life-changing biblical teachings. Thanks for watching.